Welcome back everyone to the new Mistlands update that has finally hit the public test branch. Today in this video we're going to be going over a full Mistlands mob guide. Each mob and how to fight and kill them. So basically going over which weapons to use, their weaknesses, etc. So stick around, I hope you all enjoy. There are many spoilers ahead, so watch at your own risk. And without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so starting off with our first mob, the Seeker. This is what they look like. They can fly, they can do swipe attacks, pincher attacks. Here's their attack pattern, just so you guys can witness it. Massive double attack. Left, right, pincher attack. Alright, so that's, you guys could get a kind of an idea of its attack pattern there. Pretty powerful creature, but definitely not the most powerful. So the first weapon of choice is the Him and Awful. It is this amazing staff looking thing that shoots lightning, so it does lightning damage and pierce damage. They really do not like this thing. This is how it looks. Basically, this is a two-handed weapon, so you cannot use a shield with that, which is definitely something to keep in mind. So let me show you how good the block does on this thing, just so you guys can feel confident that it does in fact work without a shield. So I'm in ghost mode right now, but as soon as I take myself out of ghost mode, this thing will start attacking me. Alright, it's battle time. So as you can see, it's aggroed, and as you can see, this thing will completely parry it, no problem at all. Only taking about 1 damage per hit. So you can feel confident that this two-handed weapon has an extremely good block force. As you can see, if we do parry it, it's just 3 hits and it's gone. So this thing does a ton of damage. It hates the pierce and it hates the lightning. And that was only the normal attack after parrying. It also has the special attack, which will, as you can imagine, take care of these things even quicker. So that's kind of the easiest kind of handheld weapon that does not involve magic, or ether as it's called. And then my personal favorite is the Staff of Embers. And this does a ton of fire damage. It requires ether to use, and to obtain ether, basically, you have to eat foods that contain ether. So as you can see, I'm eating the Seeker Aspic, which is one of the higher rated foods for ether, 85 ether. But you can kind of combine your diet, so that's the only food I have right now in my diet that contains the ether. So I have 85 ether to use. As you can see, I can shoot the fire, and we have that ether at our ability, and it's a little purple bar there that slowly starts regenning. So basically, and then also the armor that I'm using for this fight is the Ether Weave armor. This stuff has a ether regen bonus. So that's the benefit of this armor. It will regen the ether much faster. So let me show you why I love this weapon so much on the Seekers. Alright, so here's another Seeker. One shot. Check out how much fire damage they take. They do not like fire. There's 2 shots. Again, still burning. Taking a ton of fire damage. 3 shots, and it's dead. So this thing is a great way to range them using magic. My personal favorite, that is the Seeker. Now let's check out what the Seeker drops. Alright, so looking at the drops from the Seeker, it drops Seeker Meat. So this can be used for lots of food recipes. It also drops Carapace, so this can be used to craft armor and all of that. And then the Seeker Trophy, which looks like this. Such a cool item. Alright, let's move on to the next mob. Next on the list is the Seeker Soldier, or the Seeker Brute. So this is what it looks like. Big kind of skeleton legs, kind of reminds me of like a Star Wars monster in the arenas. So let's look at its attack pattern. Left. Headbutt, that does insane amount of knockback. Pinchers. Headbutt, and claw attack. So it does like kind of a single claw attack, a headbutt, a pinchers, a double claw attack, and that seems to be what its attack pattern are. Now, the weapons of choice I like to use for this battle are a spear and a shield. Seems to be the easiest way, so I'm just using the carapace spear and then the carapace buckler. I've tried this with the black metal spear and black metal buckler as well, and it does work very, very well. It's just an easy way to quickly do it, not too much stamina drain, that would be kind of in effect using the great sword or anything like that, or not the great sword, I guess it's technically called the Crom, but the great sword essentially. It doesn't like slash, but I know it definitely does not like pierce, especially when you can keep parrying it with a buckler. So let's see these two in action. It does a ton of damage if we don't block it, but if we can parry it here, we can parry, stab. Parry, stab. Parry, stab. Parry, that wasn't a parry, but parry, stab. And you can even get a double attack on it. So parry, double. Parry, double. So that's a really easy way of basically not using up too much stamina. And then obviously we can just kind of walk around to do some stamina regen. Parry, double attack, parry, double attack. So that's my favorite way of taking on the Seeker Soldier. And for those of you interested to see how the Demolisher, the large hammer, does against this thing, here's how that does. So, not the best weapon of choice just because of the fact that it takes so long to draw back. So, I definitely enjoy the spear and buckler just because it's fairly easy to time those blocks. The double attack is the hardest, but if you can parry it, it just seems to be the easiest way to fight this thing. It's hardly doing any damage per hit, 0.6 damage. That would not even make your health bar go down. And again, you can just keep getting those little parries in. The Seeker and the Seeker Brute also take lots of damage when using the Porcupine. So that's how we fight this. Let's see what it drops. Alright, so it also drops the Seeker Meat and Carapace, just like the normal Seeker did. The Seeker also drops the Mandible. The hand of man could hardly design a more perfect weapon. So that can obviously be used to probably craft weapons and such. A big claw-looking thing. So that's pretty cool. And then the trophy from the Seeker Brute, or Seeker Soldier, looks like that. So pretty cool-looking trophy. I definitely love the designs in all of these trophies and mobs so far. Alright, let's move on to mob number 3. Next on the list, we have the Seeker Brood, which can be found in the Mistlands dungeons. I just spawned one in here to show you how they attack. This is their attack pattern. They are the smallest of the Seeker family, and the last as well, so they just do a little pincher attack. Not a terrible amount of damage if you're wearing big armor, and they just like to be squashed. They really don't like blunt damage. As you can see, the Porcupine one-shots them. If I spawn another one and use the Demolisher, again, just one-shots it. And if there were a whole bunch of them surrounding you, which there usually are in the Mistlands dungeons, I won't give too much away about those yet, then using this hammer with a massive AoE will take care of all of them in one smash. So that's basically my favorite way to take care of those things. Now let's see what they drop. So the Seeker Broods drop this Royal Jelly. So this is basically a food on its own. You can eat it by itself, but it can also be used to craft really good food recipes. And then they do not have a trophy. So that's all they drop is that jelly, the Royal Jelly. All right, let's move on to the next mob. All right, next on the list is the Gjall. So this thing you will find a ton of flying in the air, and it just did its first attack on us, which is shooting fire. So I'll just wait and show you all of the attacks. It will land eggs, which hatch into ticks. So it will spawn 3 at a time. So ticks on you as well as fire. So that is the attack of this thing. As you can see, it's absolutely brutal. there's really not much I can do right now. So let me show you the best way to take the Gjall out, as well as the ticks. So for the ticks, I like to take the sledgehammer and do a massive smash. As you can see, just 1 or 2 smashes takes care of all those ticks. So they're kind of like the Seeker Brood, where they really do not like the blunt. So again, a smash, and that takes care of any of the ticks that are near us. And then that's assuming you're also trying to walk away and dodge the fire attack. So that brings me on to number 2. Be prepared with plenty of fire resistance mead, as well as the Fenris armor, if you'd like, because that actually has fire resistance. So that's how you do that. In terms of killing the Gjall, my favorite is personally the bow. It does take damage to the bow, assuming that you can kind of roll out of the way of the fire attacks and you have some fire resistance. Another easy way is with the frost. So because it's fire, you can see that the frost does a whole bunch of damage if we just spam the frost at it. And again, that uses the magic. And this particular one is the Staff of Frost. So if you craft the Staff of Frost and use the ether with it, you can essentially shoot the frost at this guy, and that does a whole bunch of damage. So again, best way to attack this thing in survival mode would be to get yourself the big demolisher, and essentially when the ticks, before they actually latch onto you, do a massive smash just like that. Take care of the ticks. When there's no ticks around, focus on dodging the fire attack. That's when you pull out the Staff of Frost, and that is when you start shooting at this thing. And we have a whole lot else on me as well, so now let's take a look at what all of this drops. I would be dead 1,000 times over if I was not in God mode right now. This is insane. As far as drops go, we have the Blood Clot from the ticks, and then we also have the Bile Bag that is dropped from the Gjall itself. So those as well can be used in recipes. And then we have the trophies here. So trophy number 1, we have the tick trophy. So super, super small, as you can see. Tiny little bug. I don't know if I'll hang that one on the wall much. And then trophy number 2, which is the Gjall trophy. So that's how it looks. Kind of creepy, but I'm sure someone will get creative with the trophies. So that is the Gjall and ticks. Now let's move on to the next mob. Alright, so the next one we have is the Hare. It is a friendly mob, does not attack you. You cannot tame them. Easiest way is to chuck a spear at it, or also shoot it with a bow. But personally, I like hunting things like this with a spear. Doesn't waste any arrows or any of that, if you can sneak up on them. This one's obviously alerted. Let's see if it'll stop running around. They're very bouncy, very fast, as hares should be. Well, let's see if we can find another one. That one ran out of sight. We kind of have to take them out before they realize we're there. Alright, so we have another one up ahead there. As you can see, it's not alerted on us yet. And easy peasy with the bow or the spear. So, this only drops the scale hide as well as the hare meat. And then its trophy is very small and cute. That's what the trophy looks like. So literally it kind of looks like the back legs of it or something. A little pink tail. Or maybe that's the cut off head. I can't really tell. I think that's the tail and the back legs. So that's what the hare trophy looks like. Let's move on to the next friendly mob. So the next mob here are chickens. So these are little chicks. I just spawned them in. But you can basically tame them. They'll grow, they'll come in different colors and shapes. These can be found in the meadows biome. But this is what they look like. To get your first chicken, you basically have to go to the trader, Haldor, and buy the first egg. And then you hatch the egg by placing it near a fire to keep warm, because at first it'll say that the egg is cold. And then your egg will hatch and you'll have your first chicken that you can breed. So these will drop feathers, and they'll drop chicken meat. Just chicken, I guess. It sounds weird saying chicken meat. which you can make all sorts of cool new food recipes for. And it's a cool way to farm feathers as well, besides just hunting birds all the time and wasting arrows. So you'll definitely need those feathers for the new feather cape. As you can see, this is what they look like all grown up as hens. Much bigger, pretty cool looking, actually quite realistic. So these are basically what you would kill to essentially get the chicken and the feathers. So as you can see, this one is tame. We can press left shift to rename, or left shift and E, and as you can see, we can name it. Hee. There we go. Look at that. Bye chickens. We have some chicken meat and some feathers. Another thing you'll notice is we have Munin. So that's really cool. Munin is the other bird along with Hugin in Norse mythology. So Munin is the white one. Pretty cool. Again, that's how he looks. And he will show up many times in the Mistlands. Alright, so if you find structures like this, you will come across our next mob or group of mobs, which are actually kind of NPCs. They'll talk to you. They are the Dvergrs. So this is the Dvergr Rogue. This is a Dvergr Mage, and I'll talk about the differences here in a second. Again, there's another Rogue. This is what the structures that they inhabit look like. So, pre-built structure, there are normally quite a few of them, but what you want out of these structures is the loot on the very top. As you can see, they kind of shove you around. They all have their crossbows pointed at you. Don't be worried. They don't want to kill you unless you do something to them. This is what we want. We want the Dvergr component crate, and we want the normal crates. They have stuff in them that we need. The only way to get these, because you can see we cannot open them, is to smash them open. This will piss off the Dvergrs. As you can see, they are ready to kill you if you piss them off. So, to kill these guys, well, you don't. The ideal way to take care of a situation like this is to smash the component crate, or the regular crates, grab the stuff, and run. So I'm going to empty out my inventory. For this, you'll also want to use the more tanky armor, the carapace armor, or wolf armor, or padded armor. You're not going to want to use a specialty armor, because these guys are brutal, and you're going to want to be able to take a beating. But if your plan is to just come in, grab the stuff, and run out, Fenris armor could be kind of useful. So I'll show you plan number 1. Get ready with a massive hammer, or any sort of bludgeoning blunt weapon. And what we're gonna do, let me just remove what I tossed out of my inventory. Once you have some inventory space to pick up the stuff, you're gonna do a massive smash. That will take care of the crates. That'll knock back all of the Dvergrs, and you run the heck out with your feather falling cape. And yeah, you just get the heck out before they do too much damage on you. We kind of jumped the wrong way. We jumped into the water instead of on land. But yeah, you'd essentially want to do that. As you can see, we got some blue jute from that. You'll also get some soft tissue, and I'll explain what those do in a minute. But now you've upset them. So how do we take them out? Well, assuming you don't just make a run for it with all the stuff, this is how I would personally take them out. So, as you can see, this will take care of those mages pretty quickly. You'll also want to be drinking a fire res and frost resistance, because the mages will shoot fire or frost. This one's a fire one, but they also come with ones with blue hats that shoot frost at you. So basically that's how I would take care of them. If they're all close to the edge like this, you can also equip the sledge, which does a whole bunch of knockback. Or not the sledge, I guess any sledge would work, but the demolisher in particular, a whole bunch of knockback. As you can see, they keep away from you. It knocks them clear out of sight, right off the edge of this little platform here, and we're keeping them off the edge of the map so that they can't actually be climbing up and attacking us. And we're still managing to do some damage on them in the meantime. So again, as they start climbing up, We're gonna do a smash, and they knock all the way back into the water. So that's where this thing is super useful. If you can get them down from the top of the tower and knock them back, check it out. All the way back in the water, and they can't actually hit you. So that's my best recommendation if you do plan on staying and actually fighting all these guys. Yeah, just go wild, tank it, have fire resistance mead. I wouldn't recommend Fenris armor. I know Fenris armor is fire resistance, but it is just not going to be strong enough for what you're going to need in a situation like this. So yeah, basically take the stuff and run is your best option. And option number 2, if you're feeling tanky, go at it with the hammer, knock them off the edge, and then one by one you can kind of pick them off with the human offal. Again, you can use the swiping special attack, kind of whatever you want, but you got to be tanky in a situation like that. And it's very essential that we get the soft tissue as well as the blue jute, which is that new building material as well. Also, we'll drop copper scraps, so that's kind of cool. But this soft tissue is what we're really after. This will allow us to make the ether. So this is basically what we will be putting in the processor to make that, along with the sap from Yggdrasil. And I'll go over that and particularly how to make the ether and weapons and everything in other videos. But this is a mobs video. That is probably the hardest encounter because you'll never have a 1v1. It's a very difficult thing to take out that stuff and run. So yeah, be prepared for a situation like this. Definitely be prepared. All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, so last on the list here is the boss. So this might give a lot away. You might want to click off now. We're in ghost mode, so these guys won't see me, but you basically go into one of the Mistlands dungeons, look for one of these Vegvisir the Queen. So looks like her spawn point is right over here. So we'll have to head over there, but before we do, we need some other things. So basically you'll find one of these. They're incredibly hard to get to, extremely buried within these dungeons, so I'll have to actually find my way out. Trying all these different entrances. I'm like 4 levels down right now, it's insane. So yeah, really explore every bit of these dungeons and you'll find one of those stones. Then we need to find these right here, and we need to destroy them. You'll find they kind of look like a little like glass looking globe thing. So I think you can just use the hammer. Yep, you can. Some people say you need to use the pickaxe or whatever, but yeah, you can use pretty much whatever you want, and they will give you the seal breaker. So we need to pick that up. We need a bunch of those to craft the seal breaker. And these are seal breaker fragments. So essentially get a bunch of these. Let me actually see how many it is specifically to craft. So the seal breaker is 9 of those fragments. So definitely get a bunch of them and you'll be able to craft the seal breaker. So let me get 9 of them and we can make that. Alright, so we have made it to the boss spawn location. Again, you're going to walk up this massive staircase and it's guarded by all the seekers. So again, I'm in ghost mode just so I can showcase this a bit more. But yeah, if you're in survival, use the methods I taught you earlier to take all of these guys out. And then we do have the little runestone here. We sealed the door and scattered the key. Leave her be. So a great reference there. Scattered the key because they left all these seal breaker fragments in all of the dungeons, and then bringing them all together, we crafted the seal breaker. So let's say 3. It says use seal breaker on what? But we can use it on the door. So we have to press 3 using key seal breaker. Check out this animation though, guys. It is incredible. So cool looking. So it turns all 3 of the locks, and then the 4th one in the middle, and the massive doors slide open to the Dvergrs vault. Now we enter the darkness. Alright, so we are basically in a massive hall. Looks like right here in the middle somewhere, we'll have to find the actual boss location place where we summon her in. But we actually have to find that. It's kind of a spooky thing, to be honest. I was just walking around inside this massive, massive dungeon and came across the queen. Alright, so this is the queen. Again, I just literally found her in here as I was walking around. I don't think that's supposed to happen, so I'll confirm with you guys in the comments below if that's actually supposed to happen. You're supposed to walk around until you find this altar right here, the hive seat. And as you can see, this is what we have to offer. These are the Seeker Brute or Seeker Soldier trophies. So we basically have to offer 3 of those, and then it should spawn the boss in. So I'm not going to show you how to fight the queen in this video. I will do another video dedicated to fighting the boss, if I can even fight the boss. That's a kind of a question of its own, because as you can see here, you ready for this? Or out of God mode. All right, God mode is false. I'm gonna go out of ghost mode and check out what happens. It's basically, yeah, it's just you'll see. So we blocked that attack from the queen. We blocked that one. And we did not block that one. So yeah. She hates blunt, but we have to get a lot better at our skills before we can take that one out. So subscribe to see us take the queen out someday. And with that said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you do have any comments or questions down below, and I will do my best to answer them. Again, this was just kind of an overview of how I like to fight most of the mobs in the Mistlands, and I hope this was helpful. I don't think I missed out on any, but if I did, be sure to let me know in the comments below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. There is so much adventure, so much beyond just those mobs. I'll do separate videos on how to raid those new Mistlands dungeons and everything else involved. So do be sure to subscribe for those, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers, everyone.